Hey guys, so this is my January TBR for January of 2025, and I did my makeup because I felt like I wanted to be cute today, and I put on a sweater, but I've got on sweatpants. I'm not. After I'm done filming this video, I'm changing right back into some pajamas, and we're gonna spend the whole day in pajamas. So let's just get right into the TBR for the month. I'm really excited about the books that I have for this month, but it's also kind of weird because it's somewhat of like a random grouping of books, and some of these books were ones that I initially, well, a lot of these books were not even thought of before like 2 days ago. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. So, the first book on my TBR is actually a book that I finished yesterday. So, yesterday was January 1st, and I finished the book Zenny by Rebecca Weatherspoon. And this book is a book that has been sitting on my bookshelf for years, probably like 6 years, and I just never picked it up. Couldn't tell you why. It just was one of those books I was really excited for when I first got it, but then I kept getting more books and it kind of kept on getting further and further down the pile. And I really wanted to read a romance. I was kind of doing like mood reading earlier this week. I'm filming like I read 100 pages a day for a week video right now, and I needed something that was short and sweet and that like had a good pace, and this is perfect for that because it is all those things. This book is less than 300 pages. I really enjoyed this book. I'm not going to give a review of it, but really enjoyed it. I'll let you know what it's about. So, I'll just read the first paragraph of the synopsis. Zenny Everly Wilkins has 10 days to clean out her recently departed aunt's massive colonial in upstate New York, with the feud between her mom and her sisters still raging, her sisters meaning her mom's sisters. Even in death, she knows this will be no easy task, but when the will is read, Zenny quickly discovers the decades-old drama between the former R&B singers is just the tip of the iceberg. The secrets, lies, and a crap ton of cash spilled on her lawyer's conference room table all come with the terms and conditions. Zenny must marry before she can claim the estate that will set her up for life, and her aunt has just the groom in mind, the ruggedly handsome and deliciously thick Scotsman who showed up at her aunt's memorial, bagpipes at the ready. So this book was super duper cute, and I liked this book so much that I actually added two of Rebecca Weatherspoon's books onto my TBR. So let's get into those. So those I will be reading via my Kindle. They were not on Kindle Unlimited. They're $5 each. I bought one of them. When I finish the first one that I bought, I'll buy the second one. This is actually, I'm going to go on a tangent for a second because I think that I'm going to get rid of Kindle Unlimited because I find that I don't use it enough to justify paying $12 a month for it. Half the books that I want, I have to pay still for, so I get rid of Kindle Unlimited. But the first book that I will be reading on my Kindle is Rafe by Rebecca Weatherspoon. So initially when I purchased this book and before I picked it up, I did not realize until I actually started reading this and there were characters being mentioned, like I should know who those characters were. I was like, is this book a part of a series? It is a part of a series. So this book is a part of the Loose Ends series, and Rafe by Rebecca Weatherspoon is actually the first book in that series. So Rafe is about Zenny's friend who was recently divorced, and it was a nasty divorce apparently, and her nanny quits. I think that her name is Sloane. Her nanny quits very unexpectedly, and she has to hire a new nanny, and Rafe, I'm assuming is what the nanny's name is going to be, is a hot male. What is it? A buff male nanny. So that's what that book is about. And then the other Rebecca Weatherspoon book that I want to download and buy on my Kindle is Sanctuary. And Sanctuary is not a part of the Loose Ends series. It's like not Bearded Brute. I forget what it's called, but it is a different series. But most of this book takes place in the location that the Sanctuary series, or that the Sanctuary series takes place in, because there's a character named Liz who is in Zenny's book, and Sanctuary is her book. So I really want to read those two this month. So the next book I have is a hybrid, not really, but I own it physically, but I'm reading it on my Kindle. You guys already know if you've been watching any of these videos that I've been posting. It's Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, not Sanderson. This is my back burner book right now, and I'm doing a really poor job of having it be my back burner book. I will say I really am enjoying it, but I've just been reading other things. I'm supposed to try to read about a chapter of this a day, but I think what's got me a little bit not wary, but which is taking me a little bit longer, is that Shallon's chapter, her first chapter of the book is the next one, and I read the first 2 pages and I can already tell that Shallon is going to be on some bullshit this book, and I already know people have mentioned that she's really annoying in this book, and I don't dislike Shallon, but she is far from my favorite character. So yeah, I'm probably subconsciously not picking up this book because I really cannot even deal with whatever BS Shallon has in store for me, but I gotta pick it up. So Oathbringer is the next one, and I do not plan on finishing Oathbringer this month. I'll probably be reading Oathbringer until end of February. So the next book is kind of a gamble. I'm not 100% sure if I am going to read this book this month or not, but it is an option that I'm really, really wanting and interested in reading, and that is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I am not going to synopsize this book because I know that it's very popular. You can probably find somebody who can synopsize it a lot better than I can. I feel like I feel like the synopsis on the book doesn't even tell you anything that's going on in here, which is a good thing because I think that synopsises spoil books a lot of times. But yeah, this doesn't really tell you much of anything. All I know about this book is that there's necromancy, that it's sapphic, and it's like enemies to lovers. That's the only thing that I know about this book. The other thing, actually, I know two things. The other thing that I know about this book is that it just drops you in the story, and you're going to be confused for probably the first couple of chapters before you get your bearings in the story. Now, I picked this book up probably about 2 years ago to read. I've owned this book since it came out, but I picked it up to read a couple years ago, and I was so confused and I felt like I was stupid. So I put it down, but more recently, I'd say within the past like couple of months, I think that the third or fourth book in this series came out semi-recently because I remember seeing a lot of people talking about these books semi-recently within the last year, and they were all talking about how you just get dropped in the story and it's very confusing, and that just validated me a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, so it wasn't just me. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not going to know anything that's happening. And now that I know that I'm not just like unable to grasp any information, and I don't feel stupid anymore. So I would love to read this book this month because I feel like this gives me very much like cold winter vibes. So there's that. Then I've got The Inmate by Frida McFadden. This is just another book so that I can have a breakup between reading fantasy books, because I like Frida McFadden books, but they're not good. Like, they're not. Most of the time, I get so pissed off at the characters that I don't rage, but like I will literally rant to my husband about it, like he knows what I'm talking about, because the characters are so stupid sometimes, but it is entertaining and it is mess. So I decided that I think that I'm in the mood for some entertainment and some mess this month. So this one it says, as a new nurse practitioner at a max security prison, Brooke Sullivan is taught three crucial rules. Treat all prisoners with respect, never reveal any personal information, never ever become too friendly with the inmates. But nobody knows that Brooke has already broken the rules. Nobody knows about her intimate connection with Shane Nelson, one of the penitentiary's most notorious and dangerous inmates. They certainly don't know that Shane, was Brooke's high school sweetheart, the star quarterback, the golden boy who's serving a life sentence for a series of grisly murders, or that Brooke's testimony was what put him there. But Shane knows. He knows more than anyone, and he will never forget. This seems like mess, and I'm here for it. So I would like to read this book this month. Then I've got House of Sky and Breath. I need to read this book before I forget what happened in House of Earth and Blood. I am assuming that this book is about Hunt's character. Yeah, because he's an angel, and there's an angel on the cover. He was my least favorite character in House of Earth and Blood, but you know what? For how popular this series is, I really don't know how people feel about this book. I know a lot of people don't like Bryce in House of Earth and Blood, and I really didn't mind her that much. So yeah, I don't know how people feel about the second book in the series. So, but like I said, I need to start reading this book before I finish all of the information in House of Earth and Blood because I really don't want to reread that book. It is so long. So there's that. And then the last book that is on my list is a book that like I've had a newfound obsession with wanting to read, and that is The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. I have the bad habit of saying Jemisin. It is Jemisin. So, this book is, I think that I'm like obsessed with it because the plot of this kind of reminds me a little bit of Warbreaker, and I really enjoyed my reread of Warbreaker this year, and I would love like a little bit of a taste of that. And it's mostly like with the religious aspect and like a basically religious pawn understanding that like their religion is a corrupt force. That's what this seems to be about. So it says, in an ancient city of Gujarat, peace is the only law. Upon its rooftops and among the shadows of its cobbled streets wait the gatherers, the keepers of this peace. Their duty is to harvest the magic of the sleeping mind and use it to heal, soothe, and kill those judged corrupt. But when a conspiracy blooms within Gujarat's great temple, Iru, the most famous of the city's gatherers, must question everything he knows. Someone or something is stalking its prey, both in Gujarat's alley and in the realms of dreams. Iru must now protect a woman he was sent to kill, or watch the city be devoured by war and forbidden magic. So it sounds very similar to some of, not the whole plot of Warbreaker, but some of the plot of Warbreaker. And I'm totally here for it. So those are the books that I plan on reading in January. I'm really hoping to have a really good reading month. Like, I'm really trying to like get myself in the right mindset to have a good reading month and to start some really beneficial habits for myself. So right now, I'm actually in the middle of filming a I read 100 pages a day for the week video, and I think I might try to kind of extend that. I think I'm going to post the vlog at the 7th day, so on Sunday or Monday. Or like finish the vlog up, but I think that I'm going to continue to do weekly vlogs of me trying to read for at least 100 pages a day, and then try to make that into a habit, and then once that's a habit, try to get to 150. My goal would be to read about 200 pages a day, and also I would love to increase my attention span and to increase my reading speed. So yeah, that is what I'm reading in January. So what are you reading this month? What's the book that you're most excited about reading this month? And do any of the books that I mentioned spark any sort of interest? If so, what book? Thank you so much for watching, and as per usual, don't sweat the small stuff. Bye!